Good morning students, this is AK Singh with a new video of the chapter current electricity. So in this video students, we are going to see what are ohmic and non-ohmic conductors. As I told you in the previous video, what is Ohm's law? According to this law, if physical conditions of a conductor remain unchanged, then current flowing through a conductor remains directly proportional to potential difference applied across the ends of the conductor. So ohmic conductors are basically conductors whose VI graph, means potential difference versus current graph, is a straight line and this graph is passing through the origin. Such type of conductors or such type of circuits are called ohmic circuits. So basically metal conductors or solid conductors are the examples of ohmic conductors. Or a conductor whose VI graph is remaining a straight line passing through the origin is considered to be ohmic conductor, or the conductors which obey the Ohm's law are called ohmic conductors. So students, see what are non-ohmic conductors. The conductors which do not obey Ohm's law are non-ohmic conductors. So non-ohmic conductors have different categories or their types. First, if VI graph of the conductor does not pass through the origin, means VI graph may be a straight line but it's not passing through the origin of the coordinate system. Second, if VI graph is non-linear, VI graph is passing through the origin but the graph is not a straight line. This is another category of the non-ohmic circuits. Third category is VI relationship is dependent on the sign of the V. If sign of V or direction of the applied potential is changed, the nature of the VI graph going to change. This is third category of the non-ohmic circuits. In the first category, basically voltmeters are the non-ohmic conductors of the first category. Their VI graph remains straight line but it will not pass through the origin. For example, if we plot a VI graph for water voltmeter, this is V versus I. The graph remains straight line but graph is not passing through the origin, and this is why water voltmeter is considered to be a non-ohmic circuit. VI graph is non-linear in the case of solid conductors or metallic conductors. When value of current is very small, in that condition their VI graph is going to remain a rectilinear graph for a small value of current. But as value of current increases due to heating effect of the current, the temperature of the metallic conductor increases and its resistance starts increasing, and the graph is no more remaining a rectilinear graph but it tilts in upward direction, and this becomes a non-ohmic behavior of the metallic conductor. In third category, VI relationship dependent on the sign of the applied potential. Suppose we have a PN junction diode. If we plot a VI graph for a PN junction diode, if V is positive and this is current positive, the graph looks like this. This is a non-ohmic behavior. But if direction of potential is reversed, means reverse potential is applied across the diode, in that condition the shape of the graph looks like this. For a very large value of the applied potential, current remains almost zero, but at a particular potential difference applied across the PN junction diode, the current increases with a very large value. This is again a non-ohmic behavior of the conductor. So in this way we can see the circuits which do not obey Ohm's law, they are called non-ohmic conductors. These are the categories of non-ohmic conductors. In first category, basically voltmeters are there. If current is passed through the voltmeter up to certain value of the applied potential, current remains zero. But after that value of the potential, current starts increasing linearly. As this graph is not passing through the origin, that is why we can say voltmeters are non-ohmic conductors. Second category, non-linear graph for the metallic conductors or solid conductors. The graph after a certain value of the potential or certain value of the current is not remaining straight line. That is why this conductor is non-ohmic. Semiconductor devices show different relationship of V is to I. The graph is not remaining straight line. That is why this conductor is again a non-ohmic circuit. Students, see what is superconductivity. So superconductivity is a phenomenon first observed by a scientist. His name Kamerlingh Onnes of Holland. He discovered that certain metals, when they are cooled below a temperature, they behave like superconductors, means their resistivity or resistance reduces to zero, and this phenomena is called superconductivity. So superconductivity is defined as the phenomena of complete loss of resistivity by certain metals when they are cooled below certain temperature is called superconductivity. When they are cooled below certain temperature is called superconductivity, and temperature at which the material or the metal loses its resistivity or its resistivity reduces to zero, that temperature is called transition temperature or critical temperature and denoted by Tc. For example, you can see if we plot a graph between absolute temperature of mercury and its resistance, you can see at 4 degree Kelvin, the resistance of mercury reduces to zero and it starts behaving as a superconductor. So superconductivity is loss of resistivity or resistance by a metal at a particular temperature is called superconductivity, or the metal at a particular temperature starts behaving as a superconductor. Students, after superconductivity, see what is combination of resistors. As in the previous video, I have described what are the carbon resistors. So resistors are the fixed value resistances. What is the need to combine the resistance? Again, resistances are combined to get certain value of the resistance, or to apply certain value of the resistance in a circuit, we need to combine the resistances. So there are two types of combinations or two types of groupings used for the combination of resistors. First is series combination. In series combination, resistors are connected end to end. And suppose R1, R2, R3. These are three resistors, and the combination, series combination of resistors is connected across a cell whose potential difference is V. Students, you can see whatever is the current in the circuit, that is going to remain same for all the three resistors, means same current flows through the resistors. So in series combination of resistors, current I remains same for all the resistors, but potential difference across the resistors, as their resistances are different, potential difference across the resistors is different. So to decide the series combination of registers, whatever may be the structure of the registers, the basic criteria is the current should remain same for all the registers in the combination. Then we can say the registers are in series, and potential difference is different. So if potential difference across first register V1 by Ohm's law, we can write potential difference across first register V1 equals I current flowing through it multiplied by R1, I into R1. Similarly, potential difference across second register V2 equals I into R2. Potential difference across third register V3 equals I into R3. So the sum of the three potential differences is going to be total potential applied by the cell. So if equivalent resistance of this series combination of resistors is suppose Rs, then current multiplied by equivalent resistance I into Rs is total potential difference is equal to IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3. I is common and cancels out. So equivalent resistance of the resistors in series combination Rs is equal to sum of the resistors R1 plus R2 plus R3. So using this formula we can calculate the equivalent value of resistances if they are connected in series combination. So students, see what is parallel combination of resistors. If many resistors are connected in such a way their one end is connected to a common point and to the positive terminal of the cell or the battery, and the other end of the resistors is connected to the negative terminal of the same cell or the battery. So this type of combination is called parallel combination. So in parallel combination of resistors, the potential difference across each resistor remains same as the ends are connected between positive and negative terminal of the same cell. But if I current is flowing through the first resistor, the current divides in three parts. If three resistors are there, and this different currents are flowing through different resistors. Suppose I1 current is flowing through resistor R1, I2 current through resistor R2, I3 current through resistor R3, and at the other end of the circuit, the three currents again combine and current in the circuit remains I. So to decide parallel combination of resistors, first condition is potential difference across the resistors should be same. Second, the current through the resistors is different. So if we calculate what is the current flowing through first resistor by Ohm's law, current I1 is equal to potential difference divided by resistance. I1 equals V by R1. Current through the second resistor I2 equals V by R2. Current through the third resistor I3 equals V by R3. Then what is the total current flowing in the circuit? The value of the total current if equivalent resistance of this combination is Rs, then potential V divided by Rs is the total current. So total current is equal to current through first plus second plus third. V as being a common potential, this cancels out, and formula to calculate the equivalent resistance of the parallel combination of resistors is 1 by Rp. Sorry, for parallel combination Rp, 1 by Rp is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. In the previous chapter electrostatics 2, I have discussed about the combination of capacitors. To students, you can see the formula for series and parallel combination of capacitors and series and parallel combination of resistors. The formula is different. In the case of capacitors, in parallel we get formula Cp equals C1 plus C2 plus C3. But in case of resistors, we are getting formula for the parallel combination of resistors as 1 by Rp equals 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. In case of series combination of capacitors, the formula is 1 by Cs equals 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. But in case of resistors, formula for the series is Rs is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. So while solving questions related to combination of capacitors and combination of resistors, the difference should be kept in the mind. Otherwise, you will get confused between two formulas. You should see how to find the equivalent resistance of a given network of resistors between 2 points. So, while solving a network problem, to get the equivalent resistance of the network, first of all, we should see what is the point across which the equivalent resistance is to be determined. Then you can start solving from any end of this circuit. Here you can see we have to find equivalent resistance between points A and B. 3 ohm and 3 ohm, these two resistors are in series, and their equivalent resistance can be written Rs is equal to 3 plus 3, 6 ohm. After solving this is a single resistance of 6 ohm. So now you can see these two 6 ohm resistors are in parallel. So what is the equivalent resistance? 1 by Rp equals 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6 means 1 by Rp equals 2 by 6, and Rp is going to be 3 ohm. Now the resistance up to there is 3 ohm. Now this 3 ohm and 3 ohm resistor is again in series. So their equivalent resistance Rs dash is equal to 3 plus 3, that is 6 ohm. Now 6 ohm and 6 ohm again in parallel. So we can write their equivalent resistance as Rp dash 3 ohm. Then this 3 and 3 again in series, Rs double dash is equal to 6 ohm, and this 6 and 6 in parallel. So Rp is going to be again 3 ohm. Then this 3 ohm and 3 ohm in series. So resistance up to there is going to be at the end 6 ohm after solving all these circuit. But you can see this 6 ohm resistor and this 3 ohm resistor are in parallel. So resistance in parallel at the end is going to be 1 by Rp equals 1 by 6 plus 1 by 3, and this is 1 by Rp is equal to 1 plus 2, or Rp is equal to 6 by 3, that is 2. So equivalent resistance between points A and B of this network at the end is going to be 2 ohm. So in this way you can solve the question.